In addition to all of the federal workers, it's work for Congress to hammer out budget and a DACA deal before the February 8th deadline. That's now the new deadline. Dr. Lee Hanna is a political science professor at Wright State University, joins me this morning. We were talking a little bit before during the break. We've got good news and we've got bad news when it comes to Democrats. Talk about both.
Certainly. So I think the bad news is the progressive base was very frustrated. They feel like they really didn't progress in any type of issue moving forward. There's a lack of trust that McConnell or the White House or even the House or the House of Reps will actually come through on a deal. So if you look at the no votes, generally those were coming from those who continued to vote for the shutdown, senators that either have 2020 ambitions, so they're thinking about that primary base, or they have a lot of these dreamers in their states, and so they're trying to represent them and look out for them. So that is the bad news, and you're going to see definitely some progressives are very frustrated with what happened. The good news is that if McConnell does keep his word, we may have one of the first, major immigration reform types of debates in several years now, maybe 4 or 5 years since we've really had that. And so some people look at yesterday and they say that actually looked like a bipartisan event that happened in the Senate. So, one thing to note is that they've signed on for 3 more weeks. However, we could see this come again on February 7th or February 8th, depending on both the actions taken by leaders in Congress, but then also by the president. So we could be right back here in a few weeks. Yeah, which is
a pretty scary thought for a lot of folks, especially those who work at Wright-Patterson. I mean, they're heading back to work this morning, but yesterday they were sent home. A lot of the civilian employees who were no longer considered mandatory for them to be there. So do you think that Mitch McConnell, do you think he will keep to his word? I mean, that's really what all of this stands on at this point.
Yes, you're right. So, one thing that is interesting is that Lindsey Graham and Jeff Flake, 2 moderate Republicans, are also pushing McConnell to keep his word and to have this discussion. So the extent to which they still have a voice at the table, means that maybe they can, keep this going. But, it's very difficult. And the Democrats, especially those Democrats who are going up for re-election in states that Trump carried, they were pretty nervous about this going in, and then they showed up in Schumer's office yesterday morning and they said, we have robocalls playing at home that are, in some ways maybe mischaracterizing the debate, but certainly not playing well for them. And so they got a little uneasy. And so you may see that the Democrats kind of maybe sacrifice, well, I don't want to get too far ahead, but thinking about the 2018 midterms, they may try to play the short game before they worry about maybe this longer game on immigration. But we'll see if McConnell, keeps to his word, if the Senate hammers something out, if the White House has a clear position, if the House can also move forward. All of these are huge questions. Then maybe we'll see both some reform and the government to continue to be funded.
And really that could happen in the next 3 weeks.
You're right. Yeah. So it should be a really active 3 weeks in Washington.
Okay. Dr. Lee, so much. We appreciate you being here this morning and hammering this out for us.